Good day, stock market traders and stock market investors. This is Total Investor. What we normally do here on this investment channel is that we provide to you investment opportunities, both bullish and bearish in the stock market, using technical analysis. That means we bring you we show you stock market charts, okay? Again, both bullish and bearish. And this week, I think we've got a lot on one side, and I'm going to show you which one it is. Now, before we go there, I want you to do me and you a big favor, and that is, if you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. That way you get these brought to you by YouTube on a timely basis. Okay, they will be presented to you, and you don't miss any of these opportunities. Okay, so please click on the subscribe button. And of course, if you like the video, big thumbs up. So before we get started, this is not investment advice. It should only be considered as an educational purposes, basically. Okay, so let's get going. We'll start off with the S&P 500. This is the SPX, and it is the daily. Okay, so we only got about 7 months to work with on this particular chart. I have here a floor. It's got support, hit support in late June, mid-August, and it hit it just on Thursday. Guess what happened on Friday? It actually broke below support. The stock market, or the S&P 500, is trading below that support level. It broke through it. The 10-day and the 50-day crossed. The 10-day crossed below the 50-day. That's bearish, and the price is below that. Also, the RSI well below 50. We're in bearish territory. So not looking good there on the daily of the S&P. Now, if we go to the SPX on the weekly, not really that much better. This is again the shorter term that we saw in the previous chart, where we're just breaking below that level of support. But we do have long-term support or intermediate-term support here from this upward sloping trend line. That's down to around, I believe it's just above 4,200. But it is the price is below the short-term moving average, still above the intermediate-term moving average. Looking at the RSI, we've got a trend line going from more than a year ago, sloping upwards, and the RSI broke that. I believe it was this week or maybe last week. Where are we right now? 49.58. It just broke below 50. So again, not looking good on the weekly either. Let's take a look at this is the NASDAQ. Okay, 14,701. We are right on that support level going back to June, which was originally resistance, became support, broke support for 1 day, then climbed above that, and we're there right now. Again, this particular index is below both moving averages, the 10 and the 50-day moving average. RSI well below the 50, crossed that trigger line several days ago. So there's that. That's two indexes. And now we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 33,963 on Friday's close. Drew an upward sloping trend line from mid-March. Hit it in late May, early June, and then again in late August. And what happened on Thursday? Well, it broke that trend line. Again, Friday was confirmation. We've got both moving averages, the 10 crossing below the 50-day, and the price is below that. That's bearish. Breaking the trend line is bearish. RSI, bearish. So nothing good on any of those indices. Okay, now let's see if we can find something to talk about in the sectors. One sector that's very followed is the semiconductor ETF, SMH. I drew a support level here back from early June. It hit it again in mid-August. Touched it on, I believe that was Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday closed and traded below that level. So not looking good. Again, the 10 and 50-day moving averages have crossed. The price of the index is below that. RSI below 50. So not looking good for that particular sector. That's again the SMH, the semiconductor ETF. Next, we've got the spiders in the biotech. That's XBI. This I have. It's a 7-month chart. I don't have the longer term or the intermediate term chart, but what we have is like a triangle that's getting tighter and tighter. The index broke below that trend line beginning of this week. Okay, that was bearish. The index, the price is below both moving averages, the 10 and the 50-day. RSI, bearish territory, way down to 24. So that everything is looking negative there too. And we've got the financials, XLF. This too is an ETF. The only promising thing I can say here is that we're on support. Okay, hit support in August, against support on Friday. Terrible close. The stocks the index is right just trading below both moving averages, the 10 and the 50, and we're basically one on top of the other here. Have not crossed, but look how far we are, just 0.01 away from crossing over each other. And the RSI in the crossing 50. So that's everything's bearish except for, all I can say here is that we are on support. Okay, and that is the financials. Very important sector, if you will. Next, metals and mining, XME. What I drew here was a triangle with resistance here, and it hit it twice, and the upward sloping trend line where it hit it once, twice, 3 times, and we are actually back in, but just barely below the 10-day, below the 50-day. They have not crossed, and RSI is at 47. So this is still negative. However, slightly, ever so slightly promising that this is something that may have a chance to get back up. We'll see what happens next week. Next is the CRB index. CRB, okay. I'm going back to 2020 here, the lows that were made during the pandemic. From here, the trend line touched it several times, okay. It went from 100 all the way up to 325, and above that, it broke that trend line. And so I drew a trend line from the top to where it just broke here not that long ago. You can also follow the moving averages when they've crossed. That would have been a half decent signal as well. They did cross a couple of weeks ago. It broke a couple of weeks ago. RSI broke a couple of weeks ago to the upside. So this is one particular index that is showing some promise. Okay, all the industrials look very bearish, and the commodities shown here through the CRB is looking somewhat promising. So we got a little bit of good news as to where we might want to look for some stocks if we're looking to go long. Of course, if you go short, lots of opportunities there. Okay, so now let's go to the stocks. The first one, Apple. I'm showing here again. This is everything from now on should be like 7-month or 6-month charts. Going back to May, I drew a support level here. We've touched it several times. The stock went up, came back down to touch that support level, and we're not that far. We're only about $5 away from that. The stock is below the 10 and 50-day moving averages. It crossed below 50. That's in bearish mode. So primarily bearish. We've got a little bit of a positive news here is that it's just still above support, and that, but once goes below that and trades below 170, that's it for Apple. Next is a firm, AFRM. I've got resistance here in June, touched it again in August, finally broke through in late August, where went up and came right back down, and we're pretty much touching that level of resistance, which is now support. Okay, I've said this many times: resistance becomes support, and support becomes resistance. We've got, will it trade below? Well, we've got, it's currently trading below the 10-day moving average. It's sloping downwards. Hasn't quite touched the 50-day. That's because it has to get through the support first. And we did trade below 50 on the RSI. So not looking good for a firm, although again, as I said, it's really got to trade below this level of support. After that, see you later. Next, AutoNation, AN. I'm showing it's been holding on to support here for about 2 months, let's say, trading sideways, about $10 to $12. We are on support right now at around the $150, $149 level, plus or minus. The stock is trading below 10 and 50-day moving average. RSI is below 50. So, again, not looking that great for AutoNation. Interest rates are going up. Cost to finance a car going up. Will they be able to make it? Well, the stock is saying maybe not. So be careful if you're in this one. AutoNation, AN. Next, Abercrombie & Fitch, ANF. This is one of the few half-decent ones, half-decent looking charts that I found. I've got the trend line going down from the bottom at way in May. Touched it a couple of times. So we are still above that level, above the 50-day moving average, upward sloping, above the 50 on the RSI. So far, still bullish, but it's not going to take too much to turn it around. Okay, obviously we're going to have to see RSI trading below the 50. It closes below the trend line and the 50-day moving average for it to be a sell. So watch this one closely. Hopefully the general market will turn around, and this will be a good candidate to be buying. Okay, ANF. Next, AYX, Alteryx. This one, good news. It broke its downward trend line 2 weeks ago, I believe. The moving averages have crossed. RSI broke its trend line. It's trading above 50. So that is still looking good for now. Okay, anything can change. AYX. Next, Caterpillar, CAT. Going straight across for about 2 months. It's got some support just slightly above that. Below its 10-day moving average, slightly above 50-day moving average. Not liking the industry. Caterpillar, you know what they do. The RSI below 50 and trading below its trend line. So right now, it's going to have to bounce very soon. And this is the line in the sand right here, that the support level. Okay, so if you own that, be very careful, be nimble. CAT. Next, Celsius Holdings, CELH. Again, very similar to Abercrombie & Fitch. Upward sloping trend line, touched it several times. We are below the 10 and 50-day moving average. Not having a good week here. Still above the trend line, but not by much. RSI crashed. We're at 34. And so, again, this is that line in the sand right here, the trend line. Once it goes below that, look out. CELH. Coinbase, COIN. Here we have what was resistance, became support, and broke through support on Friday. Terrible close. Stock below both moving averages. Moving averages have crossed. Bearish. RSI in bearish territory. Not looking good for coin. Cencora, COR. This is one of the few half-decent looking ones. Okay, just using the moving averages here when they crossed. Here it crossed 10 over 50. Okay, all you have to do is keep holding until it crossed again. Sell. Now we're in the buy again when it crossed. RSI confirming it's now in it crossed above 50. We're at 64 right now. decent volume of 1 million, although the general market not looking good. But if there's a turnaround in the market, this thing would be a great buy candidate. COR. Next, EverQuote, EVER. Same thing. We've just look. All you have to do is like wait for the moving averages to cross here. I don't know when this originally was a sell. The chart doesn't go back far enough, but it looks like it could cross any day now. We've got the RSI above 50. That's looking good. I wish the volume was a little bit more, but this is something that you might want to look at. EverQuote. Next, Li Auto, LI. I drew a triangle here with support at around 39. Sorry, this is 38, I believe. Downward trend. From here, this could trade either way. Okay, it's like waiting for a very important decision here. Is the 10 and 50 day going to cross to the downside? Will the stock break below support, or will it break resistance? Will the RSI continue to move down, or will it break resistance and move higher? So this is a toss-up. Watch this one if you want to take a position. Li, LI. Next, Mirati Therapeutics, MRTX. It's been moving lower since it broke this support level, moving straight across for the past 4 months. We might have a chance here that it's going to break this level of resistance, which it touched several times. Very significant here. It's above its moving averages, both of them. Good volume over the past 2 days, about 4 times what it normally trades. RSI broke above 50, so that's all good. Needs to break resistance, and hopefully the general market as a whole turns around for help. MRTX. Next is Netflix, NFLX. It broke its level of support. This level of support, horizontal, and also through its trend line. The stock is below both the moving averages that have crossed, and even the RSI has crossed. This is definitely a negative. It was negative when it broke here just at the beginning of the week. Okay, so that's that for Netflix, bearish. Next, Nvidia, very popular stock. Have here level of support going back to just over $400, going back 1, 2, 3, 4 months. The stock is traded, it's still above that, but we've got some problems here. Both moving averages have crossed, 10 crossing over the 50. That's not good. RSI broke below 50. That's a negative. Last line of sand, we got to the support. Once it breaks that, sayonara. Okay, Nvidia. Look at all that volume going through, 48 million shares. Next, we've got Tesla, TSLA. Very negative day on Friday. Stock below 10 and 50-day moving average, just barely above this level of support, and finally, its last level of support here before you really got to turn negative on this thing. And that will be, I believe it's like 215, give or take. RSI crossed below 50. That's a negative. So Tesla looking more and more bearish by the day, along with many of the other big stocks. Next, XP, and this is the final one. I drew level support here at just below 23.5, give or take. Stock is below, or actually right just below that level of support, below the 10-day and the 50-day moving averages. They are about to cross. RSI below 50, moving downward. That's a negative. Okay, very bearish right there. Luckily, it was on lighter volume than normal, although still a lot of bearishness, not just in these stocks that I've highlighted, but right across the board. S&P, NASDAQ, the Dow, you name it. So that again is my particular point of view using technical analysis. I hope you found this particular video very useful. If you have, again, please thumbs up. Write a comment if you want, what you want to hear, what you like, what you don't like. I will take that into consideration in my future videos. And again, please subscribe. Gotta subscribe, okay? And that should be it for now. It was a big, long weekend there. I'll have a shorter video on Monday. Please watch out for it. And having said that, I will see you in the next video. Thank you.